The attendees list. I've got Cheryl from Oro Valley, Francisco from DTM, Sergio from Sahuarita, Hal from DTM, Glenn from Federal Highways, GJ from Oro Valley, John from Marana, Mike from Pima County, Blake O from DTM, Jay from ADOT, and Greg from DTM. Did I miss anybody on the attendees member list? And from our team side, I got Dr. Nassi, Bree, Jesse, Hinsu, and Gabe. Do a double check, make sure I didn't miss anybody. And everybody can hear me loud and clear? All righty, fantastic. Um, Next item up is our in-kind reporting. So as you guys know, and as you hear at regular meetings here, our regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording the time donated by attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAG collects all this data on the time dedicated to the meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for our grants and federal dollars. If you're paid with any of the federal dollars, please let us know. Time spent in preparation will be estimated by the staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda, the meeting, and the materials. And at the conclusion, a session report is going to automatically calculate what you spent on this meeting. Time spent working on PAG or RTA initiatives, programs, special projects can help be eligible for consideration of matching funds. Okay. Moving on. Our next item is kind of the big highlight of this. So, as a way of introductions, and I'm going to give a little background for those that may or may not remember or be familiar with how this all shook out. So, a few years ago, PAG initiated what we called a deep dive. I could never think of a cooler title of it, and that stuck into several of the different things we'd been hearing about, aspects, technology, a number of things. And adaptive traffic signal program is one of the things we did an awful lot of look at. Jay Gomes had been doing some pioneer work on SR 77 and other jurisdictions around the state have been doing it. And we did a bit of research into it, but we didn't have a lot of application on it. Fast forward to a couple months ago, and Francisco was mentioning an update, and I was also hearing about it through other members within DTM, that the implementation of the adaptive program was going extremely well. So I reached out to Francisco, asked him if he'd come to this group and give us a rundown on their program, what we've got, how it's been going, all the basically lessons learned, tips and tricks, and everything else that they've had as they've put this program into motion. So with that, Francisco, thanks a million for agreeing to do all this and for jumping in on it. Real quick, did you want questions throughout, or you want to kind of go through your presentation and then take them at the end, just so I can get myself geared?
We're probably gonna leave him to the end.
Leave them to the end. So, in that case, then Issa and I will moderate when we get to that point. Francisco, the floor is yours, my friend. Thanks a million for doing this, and take it away.
All right, thank you. So for those that don't know me, I'm Francisco Leyva. I'm a systems engineer in the Smart Mobility Group with the Tucson DTM. And today we're going to talk about our implementation of adaptive in the city of Tucson. So we in the region created a term and talked about a long time ago, the three-legged stool. Back then, when technology was not as it is today, we realized we needed to have modern controllers, communications everywhere, and detection, because everything at the time that you wanted to do for ITS implementations required that. They had to be built on top of that. Hence the stool, so we can put things on top of the stool, like adaptive, ATSPMs, things like that. So we at the city, we finally got to 100% controllers, 100% communications, and 100% detection, even though our detection included some systems that cannot, well, can support the old adaptive systems where they could provide data to those systems. We are continuing to replace those systems because the new ones that we're finding on the market come already with all the ATSPM data collections and optimization and adaptive. So as we are modernizing those old systems, we are going to get benefits. And so now the city has Econolite vision and no traffic as the vehicle detection systems of choice. So this is the whole story. We have the stool with the three legs that can support primarily coordination, make sure our clocks are in sync, and we can upload, download plans, and build on top of that ATSBMs, adaptive optimizations, and other things to come. And so once we completed that, we moved on. We wanted to move on and see how can we build ITS on top of our stool. And the Bell Road adaptive study happened at that time, and they tested 7 to 8 technologies, and only a couple were shining examples of a working system according to that study. So we decided to do that training in Tucson. And so why adaptive? If we look at the industry standard on the left side, this is what engineers currently do to get our signals working. You know, there's a lot of work that has to be put in, counts taken, consultants paid, and then an engineer can spend, well, with 406 signals or plus 400 plus signals in the city, we can't spend 2 weeks on each ones with the personnel we have. And we can't increase our personnel because of budget reasons, so we're kind of a trap. So this only allows the city to review and improve plans, few intersections, or not all intersections every year, so it has to be done every so many years. So Adaptive presents this new feature where we are not worrying about changing conditions and having to go back and look at an intersection because a new development came in, or just traffic changed, or it's different season of the year, and it's a lot simpler. We now just set some parameters that need to guide the system. The system does its thing, and we may get a complaint, and then we can spend some time on it and fix that. With the no traffic system that we'll be talking about here, comes with some staff. So when Marina gets a call for an issue, Marina contacts no traffic, and they look into that problem, come up with a solution, and then coordinate with Marina to implement it. So we kind of increase our staff and don't have to worry about these 92 locations as much as the other ones. You can see some of the benefits that we saw here in the picture. And so we'll talk about the implementation. Back in 2021 was actually when the deployment started. We had some money that had to be spent on this region, and we wanted to try adaptive. So we chose these locations. This had a corridor along Ajo. 12th Avenue had recently been reduced for a complete streets program. And so we wanted to get a system that could detect bicycles and pedestrians so they could be accounted into the new design of the road. And we redeployed a grid. And so that was our test. And based on this test, we found some great benefits. We saw a reduction in congestion and delay, reduction in complaints, and we see that this was a great implementation for corridors. That was Ajo turned out to be a great improvement. So we saw this works great in corridors. So we got in conjunction with CATS, and we looked to see what corridors in the city had some big issues that we could tackle. And we chose these locations to do that. And then with the next year, we had a little bit more funding, and we completed, we extended some of those corridors. We added some key areas to try different things. We knew we had the 22nd Street Bridge closure coming up. So we beefed up the area around with no traffic to help us monitor that in the future. And then want to try something at the freeway and see how we can not do better with our signals that interface with the freeway. So the no traffic device, it comes with a dashboard that has great benefits on it, and we'll be talking about the things that we can see. You see on the right side of the screen, it comes with a NOC, so a network operations center that is 24/7 looking at the signals, and they report incidents on the street. And we'll talk about what we can do with that in the future. But here are some of the examples. So we'll get an email uh, saying the location this happened, a little bit of what the NOC personnel think is going on, and it comes with a little picture of the issue. And so there have been detecting breakdowns, police actions. We had the El Tour, the Tucson, outages, power outages, anything that's happening on those signals. Also, the new system comes with a nice reporting feature. It collects the data, but then you can nicely get it reported back to you. It can be downloaded in Excel files also, but it produces some nice graphics. So you get counts, turning movements, approach volumes, is ATSBM reports. You got split monitor. You guys seen this ATSBM reports. So the system produces this for each of the intersections and collects the data. At this point, we have a couple of years of data worth collected. The system later on, like in year 2 of our implementation, they came out with this red light running feature, and it's turning heads so much that the city of Phoenix, contracted this system and installed it in their signals as a secondary system. They left their original detection system, installed this just for the purpose of doing red light running detection. And you can see at the bottom, there's tier 1, 2, and 3. And so tier 1 is people that are running the red in the yellow phase. Tier 2 is when they're running it on the red phase, the old red phase, and tier 3 is when they're running it with an opposite green on. So we do have a few people that do that. So this, we're thinking, is going to be a potential tool for law enforcement to be able to focus their effort. You can see the map, the locations of that day where the issues were seen, so they can do enforcement at specific locations and not just try to guess in the city from people complaining. These are some of the metrics the system calculates for us. And we're not claiming that no traffic costs all this great news at the bottom with the reduction in accidents, but the city's been very proactive. We've done a lot of complete streets. We've done speed limit reductions. We've implemented this at a fifth of the intersections in the city. This system is in there. And some of the reasons the accidents are reduced by this system is it creates better platoons. And you can see the reduction in red light running from 6,300 to 1,200. That's because the system will see straggling vehicles and might extend the time of the green. It also creates better platoons. So when they get to the next signal, they'll be able to all go in the regular green time. And for our delay reduction, you can see every corridor that we implemented this on has improved. The only outlier here is golf links, but we had the base do a gate closure that caused some really bad congestion in golf links, and we were thinking this is the attribution for the extra delay there. But You can see everywhere else it's been positive. It might not be uh, the solution to eliminating delay, but it's definitely an improvement. And because of the cost of the system, which is less than a regular detection system, it's just another feature that we can say we want to install the system. So this is some of the benefits we have observed ourselves. Reduction in customer complaints. We have staff time that's been saved. Marina is not as much worried about these 92 locations. We have reports on incidents and the locations by the knock. Safety on the 12th Avenue corridor. The safety has been improved by 50% reduction in accidents in that area. Not all related to no traffic, but in combination with the tools that we apply there, we have that. Now we have data of these signals that's readily accessible, downloadable, printable. Um, we got tournament counts, pedestrian bicycle counts, which is great. We now are feeding this data to PAG, so they don't have to have volunteers doing the pedestrian and bicycle counts at these locations. We have used them for events and detour management that's happened. And we're planning to do this for our upcoming constructions and the 22nd Bridge and Irvington TI construction. And the cost to deploy this system, we realize is cheaper than our kind of like vision system. So we're not investing more money and we're seeing more benefits. And that's one of the reasons we're very liking this system. Originally, no traffic was a adaptive system, and that's how it was marketed. And now they have realized that they have an excellent detection system under the hood of their adaptive system. So you can purchase this system for detection only. Don't use the optimization, and you get all the benefits. You still get the knock service, so the signals will be monitored 24/7. And you get all the counts, turning movements, and then you can add, if you want to add the red light running and other things, you can add those to the menu. So this has opened up our eyes to being able to just do a swap where we don't necessarily want to do optimization, but just need to upgrade or modernize detection, that we can go ahead with the system too, and it'll be a great benefit. I know that was a little bit of a fire hose. Um, and I'm sure you guys wrote down some questions, so I'm glad to scroll back, answer your questions. So this is open to questions now.
Fantastic. No, Francisco, thanks a million for doing this for me, man. I really appreciate it. And I know from what I've heard, word of mouth, folks have been kind of excited about looking forward to this and hearing what you've been going and specifically these details. So, Issa and I will try to monitor this as best as possible. And Richard, looks like you're up first. Go for it.
Oh, good morning. This is great work, Francisco. Thank you very much. I'm very curious about the red light running, and could you take a little more time and tell us the signals basically then hold the red light on the side street and lets the violation actually pass through before the side street gets the green light? And how long is that set up? How long will that go for before it terminates and then goes back to some sort of normal cycle?
Well, the thing is that we don't have like a regular cycle uh, enforced on these. The system, we don't tell them you can maximal extend so many seconds or not. The way they detect the vehicles, pedestrians, and bicycles is by tracking them. So this is one of the systems where it's tracking, not just using a zone to detect a vehicle. So they know the speed, location of the item before it gets to the grid. So it's great in corridors, we say, because as you go in the corridor, you're gonna form into nice platoons, and that solves most of that what would have been a red light running system. I mean violation. but it will extend a second, half a second to get a straggler in. It's not really at this point we're not instructing them to target vehicles 1, 2 seconds out and then let them go by. It's just kind of the natural work of the system.
Oh, fascinating. Excellent work. Thank you very much.
So more of like a temporary pause, not a hold. It's just a very short duration, correct?
Yes, yes.
Nice work. Thank you.
Hmm. Hinsu?
Hey, Francisco, thank you so much. I think this is really awesome. Also, just yeah, we have that access and no traffic in the dashboard, and really appreciate that. I have the quick question about the one of the delay and the measures by per intersection you showed. Is that the daily basis or just what was the kind of just the unit and for the measures?
On this the average delay.
Yeah.
I believe this is average delay since the installation of the system. So this is keeping track of the some of these systems have been out for a year. Um,
Is this
but the
measured in
Oh,
terms
I
of
see.
exact
seconds, though?
formula,
Second, yeah.
I don't have the exact formula of how they calculate this delay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I got to follow up, Hinsu, because it's along those lines. So if we're taking, I'm going to take Aho, 13.9 to 13.3. Is that noticeable by a typical motorist?
It's
Well,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna add on Ajo what we saw. So this is even if you drive Ajo today, let's say westbound, when you're over the freeway, you get to see the whole corridor, and you'll see it is packed, and you're gonna think it's a parking lot, and that used to be before we deployed the system. Now you're gonna see it packed, but you're gonna be able to flow through it. What we saw here is this is not a huge delay change, but the capacity of the corridor increase. We're moving more vehicles now to that section than we used to before, no traffic.
Sorry, Hinsu, I had the same question you did, and I didn't want to kind of move on from your point because I thought that was pretty good. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
but I think this is good. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I'd like to review and some of them. And we are currently and validating and comparing the no traffic sensor data and with our pack data. So it's pretty good and so far. And we will just keep you posted, Francisco. And then and plus just additional and work and with it with the university teams and in terms of like a delay estimation. So I just wondered and if we can kind of just compare these things and with the data. So maybe would like to just use and those and performance measures if it's doable directly. Thank you.
No problem.
So Francisco, I'm going to go back on to make sure I'm kind of putting this in the context, in case I get asked and I can answer this in a decent way. So even though the delay on Aho, let's pick on that one, 13.9 to 13.3, that's not significant or substantial. But that's not the only indication of the improvement because the overall capacity and flow of that corridor has been much more drastically improved. So delay may not have changed, but those other characteristics or frustrations, if you will, is where you've seen the real benefit. Am I saying that correctly? I should say, did I understand your point on that?
Yeah, I think that's it. And
Okay.
it would in my mind is I drive this area
Mm-hmm.
because my home is there, and I would avoid Ajo before this installation. And now the way the system flows, the traffic flows, I am back using Ajo again. So I think that was also part of people. I'm thinking people are thinking the same thing. It seems congested, but I can flow through it without having to be stopped for
Right.
several times and a long time.
Perfect. No, I was going to say that's always the testimony is when the own folks will drive back on their, when they avoid a section, that's a red flag. And when they get back on it, it's like, well, you couldn't get a better testimony. So cool. And thanks for expanding on that. Jay.
Yeah, good morning. Again, yeah, thank you, Francisco. Great presentation. Um, yeah, adapt is it's a double-edged sword too, right? So I'm curious about the cycle times. So is there or has it been compared to what it was before as to what no traffic is doing? Like, hey, on this corridor we use 90 seconds, and now what we're seeing like 75 at this time or 115 at this time, or any observations like that?
I don't know if Marina's here, and unfortunately, I don't uh work too much with the cycles. When I ask her to let me know what are the parameters we're giving them to adhere to, she said we do not have a cycle. We do not hold them to a cycle length. We hold them to minimums for pedestrians and yellows and reds, and then the cycle is distributed according to the traffic.
And
But
that goes back to what you were saying, why you have to have a corridor approach, because you couldn't do that in an isolated intersection on a long corridor because it'd throw everything else out of whack, right?
correct, and that's why we saw benefits in corridors. We have not tested one just somewhere, and we because of that we don't see the benefit of the signal just trying to serve without coordinating with the other ones. You have to have something to coordinate with. So that's why we did corridors, and we've seen success with corridors.
Nope,
That's
sounds good, man. I appreciate that. I was more just curious. So yeah, thank
yeah.
you.
I'll have to ask Marina really, if she's gotten any reports on that.
And I have noticed a difference on Ajo because traffic's no longer backing on I-19. So thank you.
Two testimonials, I'll take it. Other questions? I've got one. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Richard.
One more, with your permission, let me get a copy of these slides.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
sure.
I was going to say, yeah, Francisco, if you're cool shipping that out to folks, that's fine.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Good deal. Thanks, man. Kinsu?
Yeah. Regarding Jagom's question, so I'm also interested in that, and because of we have and the DTA model actually just the regional, and the model is available. So I wonder how we can just apply and this no traffic sensor and the implementation in our model. So if you don't mind, if you can share just the additional information regarding just the cycle length changes, and or maybe minimum time or just the maximum time, something like the information, and if you have, and would you mind sharing those with us?
All right. I'll ask Marina.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Francisco, have you run into any disappointments? Anything on this that just hasn't lived up to it, or you've had to power through? Has there been, obviously the pros on this are huge, as you describe, but has there been anything you kind of run into where it's like, that was the trade-off?
But about the only bad thing we've heard is that the technicians complain the computer in the cabin is kind of big.
There
And
you go.
there's a little bit of electronics that had to go in the cabinet. It's not super huge, but it's also flat versus like cobalt controllers are kind of tall,
Yep,
slim. These are like a pancake, and so it feels big in the cabinet.
got it. Blako, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing that I've observed, and it's basically it runs really tight. So like if I live at near Broadway and sorry, Broadway and Euclid. And what'll happen is if you're going to me frequently is if you're going southbound and you want to make a left turn, it cycles from green it has a flashing yellow arrow for the left. As you're approaching, it can see the vehicles really well and it runs tight. So the last vehicle is basically going through on a yellow change. So it's cutting things really tight. So also like at it doesn't really matter, but Campbell and Winslet, the east-west is a minor street, and so the green will be really short. So if you're coming in air quotes too late, you'll get a red, and the driver approaching will see like a 3 second green. And I've heard we get complaints on that because, while they were outside the parameters in air quotes, they think the drivers in their perception is too short. That makes sense. And so I've heard that the shops get complaints that too short of green arrows and this type of thing.
And then we address those with no traffic, and they make modifications to allow
Right. Yeah.
for a little bit more time.
Because one of the things that I remember from several years ago when we did that deep dive, and Jay kind of confirmed this with his own experience on 77, is it's kind of got a hands-on approach. You can't just set it, walk away, and check it 6 months later. It's very active. And you're saying that Marina can oversee all that, but the no traffic team, they still have to have that kind of pay attention, tweak, modify, revise. So it's got that living, breathing element to it, correct?
It does.
Okay. So it's still a pretty staffing intensive, but the package and the approach you guys have gone with as having the contractor provided is that eases the burden on DTM team and staff in a more efficient way.
Correct. So Marina will get the complaint that the left turn is too short or is cutting
Yep,
people off. She calls no traffic. Then no traffic makes changes or creates something that's going to change. They call back Marina, and when Marina agrees, they implement it.
got it.
So it's putting the onus on no traffic to do the background work and the engineering and everything. And that is at a cost of about $500 a year per signal,
Okay.
which there's no way we could hire somebody to look at the signal for $500. It's like, if we do 100 signals, this is $50,000. That's not even half an engineer, and there's no way an engineer can do 100 signals a year in optimization.
Not with all the complaints and calls I'm sure you guys get. So, okay. No, I appreciate you walking through all that. Thanks, man. Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Rick. Yeah, thank you for mentioning Oracle. Because yeah, we have the same things, right? Because Oracle being pretty wide, right? 6 lanes, plus all the aux lanes or turn lanes. And so yeah, you start to potentially violate, motorist expectations if you're running it super snappy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you end up having to provide either a minimum green time or a longer yellow time or whatever it is in order to get those folks through. And I know in Oro Valley, the type of drivers that are out there tend to drive a little slower. So yeah, that we would get yelled at about that all the time.
Got it.
And so these are part of the parameters we're doing. I didn't speak to that. When we did Ajo, our project goals was to have avoid congestion, create flow along Ajo. When we did 12th Avenue, that being a complete street project, we asked for shorter cycles so that pedestrians would have more opportunities to cross the street and not have long waits because it's a complete street project. We want to take into account bicycles, pedestrians together with vehicles. So you can tailor to the area corridor that you're implemented on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Francisco on this? Okay, seeing none. Francisco, thanks a million for doing this, my friend. It's fantastic information, great presentation. Glad to see you're out there cutting edge and having such great success with it, and really appreciate you sharing this with us.
No problem, guys.
Good deal. All righty. Well, we'll jump into our regular cycle of items that we keep as a standard set of agenda items. So, PAG safety activities. Gabe, I know you're in here. There you are.
I'm
Gabe,
around.
go ahead. Talk to me, man. What you got? What you know?
Thanks, Rick. And thanks, Francisco. That was a fantastic presentation. Really, really fascinating. Thanks for sharing what you all have learned. Um, yeah, so RSA updates. We did a design stage road safety assessment on 22nd Street for the city of Tucson a few weeks back. That's been completed. We were planning to do an RSA on South 6th also for the city last week, but that was postponed due to illness. I won't point the fingers at anybody whose illness it was. Cough, cough, maybe mine. Um, but we're going to have to postpone that. As you all probably know, it's hard to do the road safety assessments during the summer months for a few reasons. Namely, the traffic levels are down from normal, but also it's kind of hard to be out there in the field when it's 110. So in these warmer months, we tend to avoid them just because we want to get typical conditions and also not kill the team. So we'll be picking that one back up in the fall. We I went ahead. I'm happy to report this is outside the region, but happy to report that MAG has embarked on their first design stage road safety assessment and invited us up to help them with that. So we helped them take a look at that in the town of Gilbert. So looking forward to hopefully seeing a lot more of the design stage RSAs up in the Phoenix region. And then lastly, we do have a request on the books for a mini RSA up in Marana that we're going to also take a look at some point. So we'll be moving towards those things. Like I said, we're entering the off season here, so things will slow down a little bit. But just the usual reminder that these are available for free to all member jurisdictions, and we're always happy to help out. We can do design stage, we can do standard RSAs for existing infrastructure, or we can do smaller scale ones if you just need us to take a look at something with a quick turnaround. Just let us know.
Good deal. Thanks, my friend. Any questions for Gabe? Okay. Now opening it up to the jurisdictions. I'll start off. Lauren couldn't make it from the county, but did want to pass along that their Safe Streets for All, the SS4A, is progressing. Right now, a couple bullet points she shared is releasing the website survey and interactive map to the public for feedback, processing the policy and progressing on policy and process reviews. That activity is underway, and then reviewing the comments received on the high injury network, HIN, crash analysis, technical memo, and systemic analysis. A third project steering committee meeting was held back in early March, discussing the overall progress and passing along updates on the safety action plan development as a whole. So that came from Lauren. Mike, I did see you joined on. Are you familiar with this? Anything you want to add, or does that suffice for an update from the county on that activity?
Yeah, that suffices, Lauren. I default to Lauren. She's the lead on this, and so yeah,
Perfect. Yep.
Just
Got you
listen,
back.
just a listener here.
Nah, no worries, man. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other jurisdiction safety updates that anybody would like to share on safety related activities, efforts, or endeavors underway?
Blake Olson here. I just want to share, we completed our clearance and change intervals. The techs had to go out to 641 locations. That included the Hawks, so we're really proud of them. So all that's up to date.
Can you, if it's just for my ignorance, man, if there's a short version, what exactly is a change interval?
It's the length of the yellows and the reds.
Say that part again?
The length of the yellow and the reds.
Okay.
So, like the time the yellow is and then the all red.
Yep.
And so there was, not to bore everyone, but there was a study or guidance from ITE that changed all that. And we went regionally and agreed to do a kind of a hybrid with an ITE for the throughs and an NCHRP for the lefts.
And upgraded. Updated. Fantastic. Cool. And thank you.
Mhm.
No, and thanks for the little clarification on that. Richard, go
Hey,
ahead.
hey, Blake, sorry, could I jump in here real fast?
Oh, yeah, Mike, I'm sorry. Go.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Um, Blake, I was curious, for the Hawk signals, I think I know this, but for the city of Tucson, is there a default for the flashing part of it? Because that's not dependent on speed, right? That's just dependent on getting the driver's attention. Is it something like 2 seconds or three flashes or something like that?
Yeah, we have a standard. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I could get
Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot here, sir.
no, and there's no guidance that we're aware of on that.
Yeah, same here that I know of. I was just kind of curious. I've seen some agencies outside of Tucson and the state, which are feel like overkill.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good deal. Richard?
I just wanted to give kudos to Blake and his team. I noticed in this morning's paper about the changes in the upcoming changes to the speed limits, and I think that's going to work very well for the city and the safety of the community. They are it's quite an impressive project that you've undertaken, and the newspaper article this morning was pretty positive.
Cool. Thanks. Appreciate that, Dr. Nancy.
Okay. Any others? All righty.
Rick, we have a flashing yellow arrow project for HSIP funds.
FAA using HSIP. Go ahead.
It's on Tangerine Road at the intersections of La Cañada and then the intersection of Rancho Vistoso Boulevard, First Avenue on Tangerine.
Okay.
So it'll be in all four directions.
Is it underway? I remember you sharing this and I was drawing
Yeah.
an absolute blank.
So
You
we
guys have already
just
started it, right?
um
ADOT awarded it?
yeah, ADOT awarded it and we had our pre-construction meeting, and so we're just going through submittals and getting lead times on equipment and stuff now.
Initial installation efforts underway. Because that was your first foray along with that pedestrian path into the federal world, correct? In recent
Yes.
months? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. Thank you. And the reason I bring that up is because members of the non-CA jurisdictions, Cheryl and Jose have been dipping their toes into those waters. And from what we've been watching, seeing, and tracking, they've got some pretty good means, methods, protocol, guidance, and ideas. So if any of the other non-CAs are curious, want to explore, or heard the tips, tricks, lessons learned, you can reach out to Cheryl and Jose. We've been trying to make note of them on our end so that when we do update discussions with other jurisdictions as well. But if anybody wants to reach out offline or has questions about it specific to those type of applications, they've been a great resource on that. And I think they've really got some solid tools, techniques, and means and methods to navigate that, because everybody's heard the war stories. And they are legit, but I think these have been successful in at least managing expectations. So Cheryl, sorry, I'm going to throw you and Jose out there as the official experts, if that's okay.
No worries, Rick.
You got it. Okay. Um, Anybody else? Okay. All right, next item up. Usually, Francisco, this is back in your court for MaxView kinetics issues. Anything you want to share from your end on that?
Not much. We're trying to get Marana finally connected. They're been back and forth with the agreement with lawyers. So Marana should be coming up hopefully in a month or two. As soon as we get this signed and they implement their VPN to the system. That's about it for kinetics.
Got it. Anybody else have anything they want to offer up on that topic? All right, hearing none, then our last item is the signal communications activities update. Anybody got anything going on in the world of signal communications?
So again, we just completed a project to install cameras at several of our intersections.
Installation. Did you use clean money on that, or did you try federal money on that as well?
That was actually through our IT department.
Got it. Okay.
Um, and so we do have BioVision communications at a few of the intersections.
Got it. And that's is it safe to, if I write it down as that's installed and online, would that be a correct way of saying it?
Yes.
Okay, installed and online.
If GJ, if you have anything to add for that. So we took our dive into the video recording.
You're getting into the game on that one too. Okay, sounds good. Anyone else got any activity they want to share? Anything else happening on their end? Okay, seeing none, I will do one last out of all the activities we've talked about, the updates we've shared, and in particular presentation. Any closing questions, anything you want to go back on, any thoughts to offer up?
Yeah, hey Rick, this is Jay.
Jay, go for it.
I was curious if anyone in our planning department reached out about the planning to programming process that we use.
Um,
And it might have been someone in the other, I guess, committees within PAG, but um, I was told that they had reached out to locals. So,
uh, that's a pretty nebulous. In what context? When you say planning and program, are they looking for funding use? Are they? Can you go a little further into that one?
so I mean, I'm pretty sure you're aware of our planning to programming process that ADOT uses to prioritize projects. And I think they had opened it up to the local agencies to nominate projects on the state system. And
I'm gonna say
you can say no. It's a yes or no question. So
I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna say it probably went to either Jeanette or likely Jamie and his team would be my guess, as they're closer to both of those activities than I am.
okay, not a problem.
So I can't imagine you guys would have overlooked it, but I also think there would be others in front of me that they would have checked in with. But I'll make sure I double check that and bring them up at the next update meeting.
Yeah, we just went through like a nomination process, and I think come August, September-ish, we'll be having those meetings again. With the MPOs and locals. And then I guess one other thing, and I don't know how much I really should announce it, but I know our traffic safety folks were placed under our planning group. So that's the HSIP and the traffic safety folks like Saroja and Amaral. And there's talks about a Arizona Safety Circuit Rider program coming to fruition. through the HSIP program. And safety circuit rider being, someone that could help us do training on the local level with respect to safety, whether it's traffic engineering or RSAs or assistance with RSAs, things of that nature. Again, I don't think they're ready to go public with it because they're still working out some details, but I'll see if I can't get someone to talk about it at our next meeting with the group.
Okay.
Thanks, Jay. I've been talking with Seth Chalmers about that over at Dibble. I've been wanting to get him down to here to TSSS and to SAITE and to making some presentations to kind of spread the word. But yeah, my understanding is the same as yours. They're not quite ready for prime time yet, but I think they're very close. So thank you for keeping an eye on that. I would love to have him down and to hear what he has to say and make sure that all of our folks are aware of the services that are going to be offered through that safety circuit rider.
And for it. Yep. I figured he would have.
I was going to say, Gabe, if you could stay plugged into that and then keep me posted, we can decide how and when the best opportunity is to share that. So glad you're already connected into it. Thanks, man.
Happy to. Yeah, Jay, let's you and I stay in touch about it too.
Good deal, and Roger that. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, last call. Anything else? All right, folks, go ahead and pencil in if you would. We're in what, May? So our next one would be, give me 2 seconds. I think we would be, Thursday, July 10th. So go ahead and hold that one. Same thing, 9 to 11. We'll plan on that and keep you posted as that progresses and then firm up as we get closer. So, gang, I'm going to go ahead and call it 9:54. Thanks. Be good. Be well. It's good seeing everybody. Thanks again, Francisco. Everybody take care. Have a good one. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Rick.
Always be good, everybody.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Take care.